Hello, everybody, and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am TheOutbackAl.
I'm Chibi Noob.
And I'm Envy Jitters.
And it's now... Alright, I gotta do it. It's May.
Yes.
It was gonna be May, but now it's May.
Yes, it is.
You people did that around me too much, and now I hate myself. So,
You're
but
welcome.
more importantly...
It's funny. I never was a big NSYNC fan growing up. I've only just embraced the meme. I just embraced the meme in the last couple of years because every millennial does it every year on April 30th.
Yeah.
As someone who did like NSYNC as like a child, it makes me laugh all the time.
Well, good for you, I guess. What day is this coming out?
The 5th?
May
Cinco de Mayo?
5th.
Damn. Well, I guess May the 4th be yesterday.
I guess so.
Oh, it's Revenge of the 5th.
Oh, Revenge of the 5th, that is a thing. Okay, thank you, Envy. Can always count on you to lift my spirits in a Star Wars way. Speaking of Star Wars, Trigger did a Star Wars thing at some point, but it's not what we're talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
So
technically, this wasn't even Trigger, but it is Trigger.
It is Trigger technically now. So we can get into that. Yeah, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, the thing that spawned Trigger, made by Gainax, but let's point out, is technically a Trigger property now because they bought the rights to it in 2021. So
I mean,
it came home.
They were the ones that made it, so it's only right. I feel.
Yeah. So originally produced by Gainax back in 2007. We've all seen this at this point, right?
At least the first 3 episodes, yes.
Envy, you're new to this?
I mean, I'm also new, but I knew of this show prior to watching it.
Okay,
So.
I'm gonna shut up. You guys tell me everything that you're feeling right now.
Well, I mean, I'll just say this. There are things about this show that are deep spoilers that are from Nerd Osmosis.
Right.
That I won't say what it is in case Chibs doesn't know about it, but I've always wanted to go back and watch it. It was just a matter of, timing and, me watching the recent animes that come out. But, I have seen a bunch of Trigger shows, so it is really interesting to see basically the progenitor of Trigger, kind of like how Nausicaa was the progenitor of Ghibli, because there's the animation style is Trigger, the humor is Trigger, the just the tone and art style is Trigger. Like, this is Trigger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Absolutely. Chibi, how about you? How you feeling? What were you thinking?
So I was very much watching it. I'm feeling like this is a Trigger show. I could definitely see where you guys were saying that Gallo is basically Kamina from this.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like kind of that, but also like I don't know. There was something else I was getting from it. Maybe it was the glasses that he kept putting on his face. It was reminding me of something else. Oh, I remember.
Squirtle Squad?
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody loves Squirtle Squad.
Yes. And then, honestly, the color palette, at least for Simon, is that how his name is pronounced? Simone? Simon?
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know.
It's Simone. It's spelled Simon. It's... whatever. I know who you're talking about. Like,
the color palette's all... It very much reminds me of, like, Kill la Kill.
Yeah.
To a certain degree.
A lot of red, a lot of blue.
Yeah. Honestly, the only thing I really knew about this show prior to watching these first 3 episodes was I knew the theme song.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good theme song.
Well, I knew it from a lot of, like, you know how people used to do animatics on YouTube all the time and then throw anime songs with them and basically just have different characters as the other characters from the opening animations?
Kind of.
Basically, like, that's what I knew this song from. So, because I knew the song, I, like, had it on. Oh, this is a throwback. My Zune.
It's called a Zune. It's what everybody's listening to on Earth nowadays. It's got 300 songs on it.
You had a Zune?
Yeah, instead of an iPod, I had a Zune. I'm aging myself right now.
What a rebel. I mean, you saying the word iPod, I don't think anyone has any of those either.
Yeah, well, I don't know. My parents, I think, like, didn't want to get me an iPod. I think they had the Zunes on sale. Anyway, the song was pretty much what my knowledge was of this show beforehand. Another thing I can say, and this has absolutely nothing to do with the show and everything due to how I was watching it, the line art was very hard for me to watch this thing with, because I was watching it on my TV, so like the line art was all sort of pixelated, because this is a show from 2007, and I'm watching it on like a bit of a wider screen than what this was supposed to be originally watched on. So I think the display was messing with it, so I actually had to take off my glasses in order to watch it, and then the subtitles weren't very easy to read.
Oh dear.
I'm like, I'm just gonna struggle. It's fine.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. It feels like you maybe you didn't get to enjoy the animation of it as much, but yeah, I watched this back, I gotta say, probably like 2011 or something, whenever it was like came out on Netflix finally. I was gonna say, because I was kind of hoping Kozi was gonna be here, but they couldn't make it tonight. They had mentioned about how it had like a rocky start with getting out there. I don't think that that was entirely true. I think in Japan this did do very well, but like whenever it came over to America and was getting licensed for dubbing and stuff, that's where it ran into an issue, because it was originally licensed by ADV in 2007.
Yeah.
But the ADV put on everything on hiatus at a certain point in 2007, and then sold all the licenses in like 2008 onward. So it kind of got caught in a limbo space. So there was an ADV dub, but everyone knows the I forget what the other studio name is that did the dub that we all know.
Bang Zoom.
Bang Zoom, yeah. It's one of those, like, there's no way that's the name of it, but it is the name of it.
No, that is what it is. I looked at the Wikipedia page. That is,
it be what it be. It is what it is. But yeah, so sub or dub for you guys?
Sub.
Oh, right, you're mentioning
So I thought this was on Netflix. It turns out it got removed a few years ago, so I understand. I saw it was on Crunchyroll.
Probably
like, okay.
Because of the Trigger bought the rights back, and then it's probably like redoing deals for distribution.
Well, so basically, I knew I was going to watch the dub, because I knew the dub was iconic, and so I went to Crunchyroll. They only had the sub, so I had to sail the 7 seas to watch the dub.
Oh boy. Well, I pirate pretty often too. I can't fault you for that.
Well, I hate to say the name out loud, but it's it rhymes with ban anime. Is that considered piracy if you're watching it on there?
Dude, just say it. No one gives a fuck.
9 anime.
Oh yeah, that's fine. It's probably piracy.
Okay. Well, okay.
Who gives a shit? They're gonna strike us down for it? I don't think they are.
Okay. So yeah, I watched the dub that way. So.
I mean, a lot of people watch their anime on there, so.
I mean, sometimes it's the only way to find certain ones that maybe are out of circulation a little bit.
I mean, back in the day, when I first started my anime downward spiral, I was a Kiss anime guy, and then that got taken down finally. So
yeah, I remember those days too.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Yeah, I'm feeling some waves of nostalgia, because this is a bit of an older show that I've enjoyed over the years. I remember watching it and just absolutely loving it, because it was like unlike any other show I had seen up to that point. I think I binged the hell out of it. It was probably one of the first anime that I binged through Netflix. I think that, and I think they had Samurai Champloo at the time, so I was like, yeah, I'll watch that too. That's fun.
Yeah. It's
hard to think like how to describe this and how to talk about it, because I know you guys haven't seen it. I know you guys have like a general idea. I feel like if you're an anime fan or cursorily aware of this show, you're aware of like probably some of the major plot points to some degree, or like,
well, like I said,
stuff.
I know the fate of one character in particular, and again, that's through Nerd. It wasn't me trying to look out for the spoiler, but nerd osmosis, and I just found it by complete accident, so I know it's coming, but I don't know when it happens.
I won't say anything to you, and I won't say anything just in case Chibi doesn't know what we're talking about.
I do, so...
I'll say that's really the only big spoiler that there is.
I mean...
The show goes nuts.
I do know... I do know one thing. Everyone's saying that this was the show that started the Trigger alien craze, but didn't they kind of assume that the mole people in Earth are aliens to begin with?
Gynax, like, kind of has a thing with aliens, too. I mean, aren't the angels from Evangelion also alien-esque in some way?
Yes.
I feel like it's pedigree at this point, but they just decided to make it their whole thing. Yeah, there's going to be aliens, of course. It's also going to, if you've seen any other Trigger show, you know that it's going to start at a 5 and then like crank up to a 30 by the end of the show, which, yeah, they do it and then some. I mean, you saw the cold open that they had with it's here's the future of what's gonna happen, and like, yeah, things get bigger and bigger and bigger and scale and up, and the show just goes places that I think whenever I first watched, I was like, there's no way they can top this, and then they top it every single time. Nowadays, I feel like you're just like, yeah, that's just a Trigger show. That's just how they roll.
Well, like I said last week when we talked about Promare, there's two different categories of Trigger. There's the batshit animation, crazy Trigger, and then there's the low-key Trigger. So this definitely was the, this and Kill la Kill, which was their first production when they were Trigger proper. That was, yeah, we're coming at you swinging. We're coming at you. This is what we are as an animation studio. You can take it or leave it, but this is what we are.
You gotta give them points for knowing exactly what they're about and then just sticking with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we can at least talk about the first 3 episodes where we get to meet Kamina, Simone, Yoko, a few of the other, I guess just really one of the main extended cast with, God, what is it, Roy? Steve Bloom's
I think that was his...
Ron.
Well, that was his nickname, but I think he had a
Leroy.
A fancier... Yeah.
Yeah, so we get them. We also got to see Viral, who's a recurring villain and is a regular.
Spiky teeth guy?
Yeah, spiky teeth guy, the beast man who's mostly man. Yeah, that's
there has to be an explanation for that.
There's not. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
He comes back a lot. I don't want to say Team Rocket-esque because I give him a little bit more credit as a villain than that, but yeah, he's your recurring villain throughout the series for the most part, until you get to the bigger bads and stuff. But yeah, he's great. I think I love the cast just in general, just from like, again, I feel like we're just like watching the blueprint for every Trigger show coming forward. Like, let's get some protagonists who are just like straight up dumbasses who just run at a problem and punch it until it stops moving.
Well, the thing about me is that, the character of Kamina, for example, first off, the fact that another iconic anime character is named Kamina, that's pretty funny, but the fact that, his character could have easily been annoying, the idiot that always tries to, be macho and bravado, but just continues to be a screw-up, but he walks a fine line, and to me, he's the kind of character, you know what? You're an idiot, but I want to get behind you. You're a bro, and I think that mainly has to do with the performance, because I love Kyle Herbert's performance as Kamina.
You said all of that, and now I'm just drawing more parallels between this and Pokemon, because honestly, you said he could go very close into dumb character. I honestly started thinking about Brock, which is not nice to say. Because Brock could be okay some of the rest of the time, but that's immediately what my brain went to.
I really don't think Brock is dumb. I think he has an issue of, during certain moments, blood rushes from his head to somewhere else. And
I don't know. I guess the Pokemon reference that was made earlier just kind of had my brain stuck on it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Kamino just maxed out charisma and just dumped intelligence.
Oh yeah.
So
probably.
And he's just like, yeah, no, I know what I'm like. Yeah, it's like a lot of these shows are just people who just know exactly what they're about and just go through their life living that way.
Yeah, because I liked Yoko early on. I thought she was a cool character. Obviously, people have mixed opinions on her outfit considering her age at the start of the show, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
I will say that there is a time skip later in the show, so she's in her 20s later on, so That's how I look at it sometimes.
But I will say this. I hope Simone, by the end of episode 3, going into episode 4, is finally, starting to be confident like he is in the flash forward scene, because I will admit my biggest problem with the show was Simone. Like, I get it, he's new, he's, the fish out of water, going outside his comfort zone, but his constant whining was getting on my nerves a little bit, and it's like, Kamina, why are you still trusting him? He's not doing anything.
Because he's his bro. You never leave a bro hanging.
Yeah, and I think here's the thing, like, again, as you said, Simon's very new. I'm willing to give him a lot of leniency just for the fact that he's young, he hasn't done this before, and, like, honestly, sometimes it takes a couple of hard experiences for people to, get some gumption and, gain some confidence. And it's not gonna just happen overnight. I feel like organic growth like that's gonna take a couple of times before he's, like, feeling competent enough to, be able to handle these sorts of situations. I don't know if that's how it goes, but honestly, I feel like him just getting confident after 3 episodes in our introduction is probably a little too fast. And I would say, no, back that up a bit. We need some more.
Without going into any spoilers, Chibi, I will say that I think you'll like the pacing of his character progression in this.
Good. Because if he goes from, 0 to 100 in, the span of a few episodes, I'm gonna be like, nah, someone's gonna struggle with this, me not like.
Yeah, he does struggle in this show, especially early on, but at least to me, it made it feel like whenever he, kind of gets over certain humps in the road, it's really earned, it feels like.
Good.
And I did love that about this show, is that I feel like, for as crazy and over the top as they go, you feel the struggle that they're going through to get there the whole time. And I feel like every time they one up themselves, or do something even bigger than they did before, or do this or that, or go even more over the top than you thought they could, it always feels very much like they earned it, and it never feels like out of nowhere. So I gotta definitely give them credit for that, and that helped a lot with making this show resonate with people, I think, because I think this is one of the, this might be a weird thing to say sometimes, because this is almost a 2 decades old show. I feel like this was one of the last 2 really good, really popular mecha anime that came out. I don't feel like there's a ton of them anymore. I know Gundam is always going to be coming out with something new every other year, but that's honestly kind of become a bit more of a section of the larger fandom kind of thing. It's it's a little more niche nowadays, because entry for Gundam is a little bit I mean, where do you go?
I mean, at this point, Gundam is kind of sort of a staple in the mecha genre to begin with. So I feel like it's just always going to be there.
I'm just talking in general of how many general audiences are clamoring for Gundam. I feel like Gundam is for Gundam fans, almost.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was also Darling in the Franxx, which was co-produced by Trig, but that had a pretty divisive ending. And then there's been other shows that have attempted, but they didn't get traction. So it's weird, because you would think that giant fighting robots would be, something like Transformers or G.I. Joe, where it's always popular. Or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
They had a couple. There was a good decade or so where they were the number one earners for a while. But I feel like it was this and Code Geass were the last everybody loved these that saw them mecha shows.
I feel like it might just be what's the they're on the decline, more or less, and I feel like what's more bigger now are probably more superhero-esque shows.
Well, it's definitely the Shonen Jump shows. Those are the specifically Shonen Jump shows are the biggest shows that become popular, because if you look at the catalog of Shonen Jump manga adaptations to anime, they're easily the biggest ones that are airing today.
And even
I think they're also having a bit of a resurgence now as well. Now that now that there's been kind of some space opened up by a few other shows in that kind of genre and space kind of ending, you're having a little bit of new blood come in. So I think there's a lot of interest there right now. Bit of a shame.
For
that
which one?
For like shonen-esque battle type anime.
I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe it's just a generational taste thing.
That too.
That could be it. Because I feel like stuff like this and like Gundam and other things, I feel like it would have been a lot more stuff that would have appealed to audiences that were more, used to Voltron, which I also honestly think like more like maybe my dad's generation of like anime watchers. Because he was watching a lot of that sort of stuff back in the 80s.
That was the heyday of mecha.
Yep, so...
Yeah, Voltron, Gundam, all the good stuff.
Wasn't like, oh god, what was it? I'm trying to remember what the name of the show was, but it was another like deep space exploration show with probably giant robots. So
Macross?
Not Macross. I want to say it might have been Fist of the North Star. It might have been something else. No, that's
post-apocalypse.
Okay.
Yeah, Fist of the North Star is like Mad Max, but with superpower kung fu.
Okay.
So Gurren Lagann.
Yes.
Going back real quick to the thing about, someone overcoming adversity, I have no issue with him, slowly becoming more confident, but also doing it at a slower pace. I think my biggest problem was that it was just more of the repeating thing, like the repetition. Like he was doing the same complaints and the same whining over and over. If it was different problems, if it was different concerns, that'd be one thing, but it was just the same. To me, it got a little repetitive, but that was just my personal viewing of it.
I'm trying to think, because I rewatched the first rewatched the first 4 episodes just because I kind of got on a roll a little bit today, and I don't think that the same complaint is constantly happening. It's kind of the same umbrella complaint of, I'm scared, I don't know what I'm doing, but I think it's usually based on the different scenarios, because like as they keep going, as they keep fighting, they're gonna fight basically a new threat every day, and like something new is going to come up that's going to be a problem, and it's like figuring out a way to get past that, usually through manning up and punching through it. But like, how are you punching through it exactly? I will say, if you guys end up continuing this, I'm just gonna warn you, episode 4 looks weird.
How?
Like, it's just something that we gotta... There was like a different director or someone did it. The art's weird looking compared to the rest of the show.
Okay.
It's just... And it's not like it's bad, it's just off.
Oh.
You'll know when you see it.
Oh,
if you watch it.
Oh, good. I'm gonna have to watch it without my glasses again and see if I can figure it out.
Watch it on your computer or something.
No, the thing is I'm not sure if that would help.
I mean, if it's a smaller screen and you're worried about it's like too big or something, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just worried about it like trying to fill the screen like on its own. And I feel like that might be why it kind of got weird looking. I don't know. Man. It was weird. Anyway.
What'd you guys think about the mechas in this?
Interesting.
You know what's funny? I've heard nerd osmosis of this show for so much, but yet I've never really paid attention to the actual designs of... I'll just say this. My nerd osmosis of the show is pretty much some of the characters, some of the plot points, but yet I never knew what the mecha looked like, and I never knew that the name of the show is combining the 2 mechs into one. Like, I did not know that. So when that happened, I was like, oh.
I'm gonna be really honest. As soon as they said the one's name, I'm like, huh. I'm guessing the other one is Lagann, and then it was. And I was like, I'm a genius. Give me a treat. Pat my head.
Your treat is the rest of the show.
I know. But I was like, I'm so smart.
I think to a large degree, there's a lot of different mecha designs in this. Especially as you keep going. But the main consistent one is Gurren Lagann. And even that's going to change over time. So, like, part of the reason that maybe you don't see as much of, like, the individual ones is because they don't last.
No.
I feel like, I don't know if they were thinking, like, hey, we have so many ideas for, like, crazy, insane mechas. We don't know if we're ever going to get another show. Let's just throw everything in that we can. So, you see so many different kinds of gunmen and stuff in this.
Yeah. Makes sense. I kind of really liked how the one, like Simone's, was basically like the head, and it has like a little brain.
Yeah.
And then we have Kamina's, which is like the rest of the body, so he's like the brawn, which is kind of what the two of them are. So it's basically symbolic in how they work together.
He's brawn with no brain, he's brain with no brawn.
Exactly.
And then Yoko's got a gun. Yes.
Honestly, probably the most useful character in the cast when those two are being a couple of idiots.
I mean, well then, she's always the most useful person in the cast then.
You know, it's funny you mention it because you joked about, you know, the Pokemon comparison earlier. Even though he's nowhere near personality-wise as Ash yet, Simone Ash, Brock Kamina, and Misty Yoko.
Honestly, that was where my brain went.
I don't know, man. That's just the three-man group that I feel like a lot of anime tends to have. 2 dudes and a girl.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Look at Naruto or Jujutsu Kaisen or, I mean, name another anime.
Yeah, very true.
Goku, Krillin, and Bulma.
Mm-hmm.
At least from the original Dragon Ball. But
Tanjiro, Nezuko, and Zenitsu. That one
I don't know. They got Inosuke pretty quick on that one.
That too. But it took a while for him to get there.
I guess we can make a comparison of Brock again. I mean, there is a certain point where Simone just can't do it until, I mean, he gets some titties in his face. And then suddenly he can pilot the robot.
Wow.
Oh god, this was made by Gainax. Reminds me of Shinji.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm kind of wondering, like, I think I'm going to end up rewatching the rest of this. Because I feel like Trigger, because they are kind of a successor to Gainax in a way. They do tend to include some of the old, like, imagery from a lot of Gainax shows. Like, I know there was, like, stuff from Evangelion and a number of other things that they, like, put into Kill la Kill on that. I'm kind of interested to see, like, if I'm looking for it. I wasn't looking for it the first couple times I watched it, but now I might go back and be like, okay, where's the Easter eggs? Where's the little things that I can look for?
Well, I was just about to ask you, was there any Evangelion Easter eggs in the show? But I guess
I guarantee you there's going to be, but it's also been a little while since I watched it, and I'd imagine that sometimes it's going to be one of those things of like, I feel like with the Trigger show, there's a lot of blink and you miss it moments.
Yeah.
So it very well could have been a bunch that I'm like, just are blanking out of my mind because I'm remembering all the more bigger moments that were very much that show's thing.
Even at that, like, there's just so much going on the screen.
Yeah.
That, like, it's really hard to take your eyes off the characters when you're watching a Trigger show.
Yeah.
But that's honestly just kind of me, because if I'm going to compare this to Kill la Kill, I say, like, this is very much has Kill la Kill vibes, but is a lot more subtle. And I guess it's more in the way that, like, how Kill la Kill, and I guess, like, because Kill la Kill was my first Trigger show, it has a certain amount of hype, whereas I feel like this one is slowly building up to it. With Kill la Kill, I feel like it kind of just went from 0 to 100 in, like, the first, like, couple of minutes. And I think we were just going.
No, it wasn't you think. It was, because I remember vividly, it's that little kid running away from a giant-ass Gamagori chasing him because he stole like a 2-star sailor uniform or whatever. And yeah, that scene just completely set the tone for, yeah, you're in for a treat now.
Yeah, they were like, hey, you guys remember Gurren Lagann? So do we.
Yeah. It was like, ah. But yeah. I do enjoy the vibes of this. This is definitely like, you know, well, it's more like a traditional shonen, but a Trigger show. So
yeah, I'm wondering what else, because like part of me is like, if you guys already seen this, I probably like want to talk about some of the later stuff, but I don't want to do that because do you guys think you want to watch the rest of this at some point?
I feel like if I'm ever sort of like kind of in just like a chill mood where I'm not just brain tired, which is pretty much all the time anymore. Like I could see myself like just watching it to like, you know, see how it all shapes up. I don't really see myself doing it anytime soon because I'm just always brain tired. which is unfortunate because it keeps me from enjoying a lot of the shows that we watch.
Yeah, that can happen sometimes.
It's weird for me where I'll sometimes binge a show like in a day or two, and then there's times where I say, oh yeah, I'll definitely watch the rest of it, and I never do. So I'm not going to make any promises with this. I'm definitely going to say it's a show that I will watch one day when I get the motivation, but I don't know if I'm going to rush it. It really all depends.
I've always found it easy whenever it's like a thing where I can just put it on in the background while I'm doing other things.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's the issue with trigger shows. Like,
well, no, not even that. Like, I'm not one of those people that watches TV shows or movies in backgrounds. I always have to have it my full attention. Like, I can't, like, for YouTube videos, it's one thing, for music, but I'm not one of those people that, unless I've seen it before, I can't put something on the background. I want to at least give it my mostly attention. That's just a me thing.
That's fair.
I can understand that. Like, to be fair, I don't do that with every show. It's normally like pretty like chill shows that are just like I'm not worried too much about like they have like a bunch of crazy visuals or anything like that. But like something like any kind of trigger show is like, no, I'm gonna have to give you my full attention, otherwise I'm gonna miss 6 different things. And honestly, I gotta give you points, Jibby, for trying to watch. I'm assuming you're gonna try to watch all the trigger shows this month with subs. I mean, like, more power to you, but it sounds like you're giving yourself more work than you need to.
I'm gonna be real honest. I will always choose sub over dub, unfortunately. But that's just kind of because I would prefer to read over listen if the voices are even slightly off. And I say that when I mean by that is like they're off in like how I feel the voice should actually sound.
Okay.
Which sounds dumb, but I'm like this with my audiobooks too. And if I don't like the narrator, I'm like, no, we're not doing it like this.
I mean, to be fair, Al, I've seen every trigger show I've watched except one sub, and I've seen clips of the dub of Kill la Kill because it's iconic, but I watched it the first time sub. The only show of theirs that I've ever seen dubbed was Space Patrol Lulico, and that one has a really
Lulico.
That one has a pretty funny dub.
Well, I might have to check that out then. Meantime, though, we should probably talk about like some of the other shows. But first, I gotta say that this is a yay for me. Like, there's no. I'm like trying to think. I need to check something because I feel like it had a thing, but I might want to double check this real quick. I think at one point this had a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh.
Which is a difficult feat at times. Unless absolutely no one's seen it and there's only one review. Yeah, still a 100%.
Wow.
I mean, I guess to make it relevant to anime, I know on Mal the rating is like an 8.63, which
pretty
the
high.
Highest rating for any. I know it's technically not Trigger, but it's the highest rating for any Trigger show. Even Kill la Kill is technically lower than Gurren Lagann, so it's still in high regard.
Yeah, no, I could see that.
I would say this is a yay for me. I would say I like the pacing and the characters, and I'm interested enough to see where it's gonna go, just because a lot of this is like, we're still sort of figuring it out, because there's still some mysteries that need to be solved. What the fuck is up with the drill? Among other things. But honestly, like, episode 3 ended it at a point where I'm just like, okay, you've done your 3-episode introduction and world setup, and we're on our way. And usually that's about the point where I'm just like, I'm either gonna maybe keep watching, or I'm gonna just be like, okay, nice knowing you, see you, bye. Where I'm just like, you know what? I'm somewhat interested to see where this is going. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a definite yay for me. Like, I will admit, the first episode and a half, I was wondering if I was going to get into this show. But then by the end of episode 3, I was like, okay, I see what they're doing now. We got our motley crew. We got our shenanigans. It's probably going to get more insane from here. But I'm in for it now. So yeah, it's a light yay for now. But I can totally imagine it being a full yay by the time it's done in episode 27.
That's awesome. I just want to leave on one little anecdote about this show. So apparently there was a political debate going on in England at one point. I think back in 2007.
Okay.
Where they were trying to figure out whether they were going to change the flag to include the Welsh dragon. And a newspaper, the Daily Telegraph, held a contest where readers could submit designs and have other readers vote on them for a new flag.
Oh.
And there was a Gurren Lagann-based design submitted by someone from Norway, and the contest won with 55% of the votes.
Wow!
So, I don't know if there's a lot of Gurren Lagann fans in Wales or something, but...
Nerds.
I mean, let's also not forget what happened to that Italian politician a few years ago with Tifa.
Oof.
I feel like that's not even remotely the same thing.
No.
I feel like that was a dude watching porn when he wasn't supposed to be, and this is, hey, let's get all the nerds together and try to do something cool.
One of them is like, oh, cool, nerd shit, political shenanigans. The other one's just kind of like, oh, sir, political shenanigans.
Dude, you pulled up the wrong tab. Yeah. Well, on that note, everybody go look up that Italian guy's search history.
Oof.
But meantime, though, we're going to be continuing with more Trigger shows through the rest of the month. This was... It is technically a Trigger show now, so we're going to call it Trigger's first show. Let's look at one of their most recent ones next week with Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I have never seen that one before. Has anyone else partaken of it yet?
Nope.
Yes, I've seen it.
Oh, okay. All right, so we're going to be looking at that. We're also going to be checking out Kill la Kill, which we mentioned a few times, and Little Witch Academia, which I don't know if anyone's seen that, also has some Gurren Lagann references in it.
Yes.
Yes.
I have seen that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to all of this because I think I'm just enjoy all of these things.
Oh, and also we need to clarify that we're watching the TV show version of Little Witch Academia, not the movies or the short films.
I never said that, but if you'd like to say that now, we can.
The films are quite good, though.
Yeah.
I also did like the show.
Yeah. All right, so come check those out with us and see some of the other things that we got going on, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series, Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!